Hey everyone, it's Kimmy. I am back with another What Sold video for you guys. Today is a 5-day What Sold video. These videos are where I show you exactly what has sold for me in the last, or it's not last. I'm behind on these videos like normal, but in a 5-day period. So my 5 days are Monday through Friday worth of sales. You guys check in. Let me know how you're doing. It is spring. I still have this little sniffly thing. I really think it's allergies because it's just like a small sniffle with a side of sneezing every once in a while. It's like fun things getting older. You like develop allergies at, my age, which I don't want to disclose, but I'm getting older and I only started getting these types of allergies like 2 years ago. It's not a cold because it's like on and off and things are growing and I got a little sniffle. So if you hear me sniffle or itch my nose, I really just think it's allergies. I'm honestly thankful here in Wisconsin to finally see some greenery, to have some flowers growing. The trees are getting green leaves. I'm thankful. So a little sniffle, oh well. But today I have a 5-day What Sold video, and honestly, they're a little bit lower than normal, and I'm a little, I'm not concerned. I'm still hitting my goal of sales, which is $100 per day, but I got a pretty significant decrease in sales. So let's just get to the numbers here. In 5 days, I did $780.50 in sales. $780. So still, my goal is $100 per day in sales. So obviously I'm still hitting that, but I've usually been in the $900 range, or, about a month ago, I did like $1,200 in a 5-day period. So, which was like my best week ever. So I'm not going to always replicate that. However, this seems to be my lowest sale in sales period for 5 days. I have a little notebook that I write them down in. Yeah, that has been one of the lowest. I have a couple in the 700, so it's not terrible. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. If I start getting in the 500s for 5 days, then I'm going to be concerned. But that's the way reselling goes. It always ebbs and flows. That's just the way it is. I do know that historically, typically my lowest sales months over and over all these years are the J's. January after Christmas, June and July, typically because people are getting out of school, they have a lot of activities, they're going on vacations, their kids are keeping them busy, and they're not sitting online buying things. That's historically my experience. You guys let me know if you have any data or beliefs in your sales. Like, is there a certain dip that you always kind of predict or not? But usually early summer, late spring, early summer, there's a dip. And then when people start going back to school in August and September, thinking about back to school, and then they start shopping again and fall comes and all those things. So we will see if that's the case. If you're still with me, I will turn myself around and show you guys exactly some of the items that sell. Sometimes I throw in some stinker sales because we can all learn from the good sales and the bad sales. I have things, if you go to my shorts, I have items that literally sell in days all the time. It's awesome. That's great. And then I have things that sit for over a year. I think I'm mostly getting done with my super old inventory. I've been clearancing it out for 3 to 6 months now. Hopefully, I'm getting to the end of any of that inventory and it's finally getting mostly cleared out. But, sometimes things sit forever, and we can also learn from that because there are certain things that I picked up a few years ago that I absolutely would not pick up right now. So I am going to show you my sales. I'm going to turn it around. Let's see what I have for this week. All right, here we go. Here is a great sale right off the bat. It is the brand JMLOFFLIN. This is a brand I would definitely say keep your eye out for. JMLOFFLIN. This was a brand new with tags, $178 original retail. It was called the Poppy Lois blouse in a size small. Had a very vibrant print, so I wonder if that's why I didn't get as much as I was expecting. This like blue with the yellow is pretty bright, but that makes sense for the time period. It sold for $44.22. I definitely would say keep your eye out for this brand. It's usually a pickup. This is kind of a fun sale, and it only took about 2 months to sell this, even though it's kind of a unique piece. Vintage 90s sleeveless neoprene full-length wetsuit from Sea-Doo. I got this at the Goodwill bins. It was a little heavy, so I'm going to say I paid about $3 for it. But the teals and the pinks just reminded me of the 90s, and I thought people are really loving the vintage 90s items right now, and I thought maybe someone who has a beach house or something like that might want to rock a 90s wetsuit while they're out boating or skiing or whatever they're doing. So this sold better than I expected. I've never sold a full wetsuit before. So again, I bought it for $3 at the Goodwill bins, and I sold it for $35 plus shipping in about 2 months, and I would say that's a great sale. Here is a vintage Y2K item, Abercrombie and Fitch. You want the hoodies and the long sleeves that have that big spell out in the front. I usually put that in my description, is spell out. This was a lovely light blue color with the big Abercrombie on the front, and it sold for $27.55. You guys know I do quite a bit in the Y2K genre, especially with these types of like popovers, pullovers, hoodies. You're looking for the moose, you're looking for a big spell out or a big logo on the front. Here is an okay sale. I thought I might get a little bit more for this, but I have been just accepting offers just to move the items if they're within reason. This is a J. Crew cotton with cashmere sweater. I put in the keyword preppy. This also gives me like country club, golfing, maybe even like business casual or executive vibes. This was a men's size large. There's the tag there. It only had 5% cashmere, so I guess maybe I shouldn't get greedy because it wasn't pure cashmere. And it sold for $22.56. This is a great sale. You know, Torid is generally part of my bread and butter sales. Most of my items go in the $20 to $30 range. This was a brand new with tags, size 2, 1820 tie front skater dress in a very bright, beautiful hot pink color. The newer tags definitely elevated it, and dresses do typically go for a little bit more for me. And this sold for $33.44. Now these shoes sold super quick for me, and I got a full price purchase, which almost never happens for me. I found these at the bins. I couldn't believe anybody left them behind. I usually am not the first person to the shoe bins. We have people at our bins that line up in front of the shoe bins for like an hour before they change them. So I'm almost never the first to get into a bin. But oh well, it worked out for me. Frye, Frye. There's the little logo on the back of the ankle, like the heel. These were the Regina Ballet Flat. They were leather, and look how good of condition these were in. They were fantastic. So Frye definitely is a shoe brand to keep an eye out for. I do think the style and size elevated these a little bit. Size 11 is getting into a pretty hard range of women's shoe size to find, and they were in great condition. So I sold these quickly, within days, literally, for $39 plus shipping. That's an excellent sale for me. Very happy with that. Here's one of those Y2K cami tank tops that I'm always talking to you guys about. This one is just Ann Taylor, but ideally you want the lace or some kind of like frilly detail on the front, on the top and on the bottom. That's where you'll get a little bit more money for these cami tanks. They need to be Y2K or vintage. This was made in the Philippines. And this was just an extra small. So, you know, this is a great sale, but it was new with tags still, Y2K. So I do think that elevated it a little bit. And this sold for $20 plus shipping. A lot of these Y2K lace tank tops, that's about what you'll get for them. This was another great bread and butter sale for me. Ralph Lauren in a plus size and the non-iron. I have found that non-iron does pretty well for me, and the plus size for the Ralph Lauren. This is a solid pink button-up shirt in the size 3X, and it sold for $28 plus shipping very quickly for me. Once you get in the 3X, 4X range for some of these shirts, you are going to do a little bit better. The 1X, 2X usually sits a little bit longer for me. That's just my experience lately. This was kind of a surprising sale. I got this at the bins. It's American Eagle, and it was new with tags. It is a size large wool blend pullover sweater, and I put preppy because this definitely gives preppy vibes, or college or city. It sold in like 3-4 months for $22.56. Not a bad flip. American Eagle, you do have to be a little bit more picky about, in my opinion. But if you're picking it up at the bins for only $1, there's money to be made there. You guys know I love my girl, Lori Goldstein. This is the logo Lavish line. And the Lavish line is exactly what it sounds like. Usually some more lavish style pieces, maybe more elegant. You can see some pretty embroidery details on this. So this makes perfect sense for me. It sold for $26.97. Logo Lavish, Lori Goldstein. It's a QVC brand that I talk about a lot here. Eloqu, I believe is how you say it, is a plus size brand I do pretty well in. Plus size a lot of times is my bread and butter. This is a kind of a brighter color, which makes sense for spring and summer. Crinkle texture midi dress. See that tag? It says it was 0922. So this is a newer piece, being that it was only made a couple years ago. And this sold for $24.34. Eloqu is a plus size brand that I do check comps on. I don't sell it a whole ton, but it is something, a brand that I will take a second look at. Dansko, this is a brand that's like a bread and butter for me. A lot of times Dansko is priced up at my thrift stores. I got these at the bins though. So, you know, sometimes when they price things up at a regular Goodwill, it works out for me because it ends up at the bins. And then I pay $1.29 per pound. So these, I would say I probably paid about $3 for these. And now Dansko, a lot of times you think of like a medical clog, but they do have other styles that do pretty well. This was a strappy slingback sandal in a size 7.5, and I sold them for $22.09 plus shipping. And honestly, that's where a lot of my bread and butter bins pickup shoes land. Here's a stinker sale. Wah, wah, wah. I had this swim top forever. It's DKNY swim. I do not think I will pick up any DKNY in the future, with the sole exception of a Y2K piece, particularly anything that has the rhinestone or the spello on the front, like the Abercrombie item that I showed you earlier. Otherwise, DKNY is a huge pass for me based on my recent sales. This sold for $5. Like I said, not a great sale. Here's another stinker. I do love selling bra brands, but this is one I would not pick up again. I believe this is sold at like Kohl's. And as I've mentioned in a few of my last What Sold videos, if there are brands that are sold a ton, like in big box stores, a lot of times the resellability, is that a word? Resellability is not very good. So Maidenform, those types of Vanity Fair, unless you're finding a really hard to find size and it's brand new with tags, it's probably not going to bring you a whole lot. J. Jill, this is another one of my girls. This was just an okay sale. Size medium, texture gauze, long sleeve. $15 plus shipping. A lot of your basic, smaller size J. Jill is going to go in that range. If you're looking for more substantial J. Jill pieces, I would look for larger sizes and maybe a different material content, like a linen, a silk, a wool, something like that. I love this dress. I thought it was really pretty. I found it at the bins. I accepted an offer. I believe I started in the $35 range for this, but I got $25. Look how pretty this is. Super pretty floral dress. Sam Edelman a lot of times is more of a shoe brand that's sold, but still $25 plus shipping on a dress is still okay. I'm okay with that. Mizen in Maine. This is a men's brand to keep an eye out for. Here's the logo for you. This is a quarter zip long sleeve men's pullover or popover. I say a lot of times if you're kind of not sure about the brand, if you can look at some of the details, like if their buttons or zippers have logos on them, that may be an indication that it's a brand that could be something to resell, because a lot of really cheap brands aren't going to spend the money on logoed zipper pulls, buttons, that kind of thing. So you can see here it has the M for Mizen and Maine. This sold pretty quickly for $21. I was actually surprised at this this sale. It's a giraffe print. Look how cute it is. But it sold in like 2 days. It's J. Crew. I got this at the bins. I thought it was a fun novelty animal boho type of print. I did not expect it to sell so quickly, to be completely honest with you. And it sold for $20 plus shipping. So when you're getting it at the bins this probably cost me 50 cents and selling it for $20 in 2 days. I mean, that's a great flip for me. Why do I think this sold so quickly? My only guess is the print, this fun jungle, giraffe, animal, boho style print, like an all over novelty animal print. Now this, I don't know, I had a hard time with this one because the same customer kept sending me offers. And then I was just like, you know what, just sell it. I found it at the bins, super colorful, but a basic Torid tank top. Size 4X, though, is a harder to find size. We ended up settling at $9. You win some, you lose some. I've mentioned before, some resellers are not even picking up Torid anymore. It's a bread and butter for me and has been for a long time. As a plus size woman myself, I do love Torid myself. And so I still pick it up because I hope that another plus size beauty can rock this. So I hope whoever got this at a steal of a deal at $9 is rocking it out there. Super cute. Here's our 2 Depop sales. These jeans were in one of my haul videos not long ago, and they sold fairly quickly. It's Weave a Free bell bottom jeans with this lace up in the back, and I got them for $6, or was it $5? And the bell bottom and the flare, and the trouser flare are all back. So you can see here that on Depop, this had 22 likes. So there was a lot of interest in it. I put in the keywords hippie and boho. These sold for $39 plus shipping. This was like a true bell bottom. Like it was a very wide bottom at, bottom part. When you're thinking about like boot cut, you have your skinny, your slim, your straight, your boot cut, your flare, your wide leg. The bell bottom, it was huge, but a fantastic sale and a good flip in just a few, I don't know, I think it was like 2 months. Great sale. This is kind of a fun one. I was actually thrifting with my husband when I got this. It was $3. This ghost face is from the movie Scream. I would say anything that may be related to any popular movie might be something to look at. Here it is, ghost face. And I don't know, it had these like year numbers and batch numbers. I just thought it was kind of sweet. And for only $3, it was half off. I was like, I'm going to try this out and see. So some person who likes maybe horror movies or maybe came from that era from Scream, because I think that came out in the late 90s, I think. But anyways, Scream the movie, Ghostface, it was a jersey. This was kind of a fun and a different sale for me. I love throwing in a couple different things every once in a while because, you know, I do a lot of my bread and butter, and so this was a little bit different. All right, friends, there we go. Another what sold video, a 5-day what sold video. Some solid sales in there. A little bit disappointed that my numbers went down a little bit, but that is okay. I'm still meeting my goals, and, you know, maybe I just need to kick my butt in gear a little bit. I don't know. You never know. We'll have to see how the trend goes. Maybe I'll do like a recap, like a quarterly or monthly recap of how each month is doing. I have kind of mentioned we're in spring and summer, and I'm sure a lot of you also get busy when the weather gets nicer. Maybe you have kids or grandkids or maybe hobbies you like to do, garden, motorcycling, whatever, you know. So it is a little bit harder to always get everything done and be as consistent as I would like. Like I've kind of mentioned, I'm just going to try to keep the train on the tracks for the next month or two while the kids are getting out of school and doing their sports and all that May, June, July stuff. Do you guys have, you know, summer stuff? It's like I have a niece who's graduating and, you know, birthday parties and all kinds of things going on, which I am very thankful and blessed to have. I look forward to those things. But it just means my life is a little bit more frazzled. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, our truck just broke down and it's been really stressful. That's, you know, life is hard sometimes. And our truck broke down, and first they said it was one thing, then they said it was another thing, and we're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars. And just life, you know, things get busy, things happen, and I just can't always be as perfect as I would like to be. I am never perfect. If there's one thing I will admit to anybody, I am not perfect in anything that I do. Am I pretty good? Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good part-time reseller. I'm a pretty good mom. I'm not pretty good at these YouTubes yet. I'm growing. I'm getting better at it. I feel like I'm getting better at it. But I'm not perfect at anything. And, you know, that's okay too. I'm all right with that. You guys know, like, I'm good with that. Anyways, I don't need to bore you with my life problems right now. But just saying that this time period with spring and summer, and I do like to garden and my kids' activities, and now our truck broke down, just things be happening, and sometimes you just have to roll with the punches and be okay with that. If you didn't watch my video like a month and a half or 2 months ago, I don't remember the title, but it basically was like, it's okay to just be okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. And maybe this is right on time. A good reminder for myself that sometimes you can just do what you can do, and that's okay. Because we're here, we're living, we're doing the things, and we're trying the best we can. And as long as we really are trying the best we can and rolling with the punches, I think that is amazing. So don't be too hard on yourself. Sales went down a little bit, but I'm still making money. I'm still doing the things. I'm still providing for my family, and I'm still here with you guys. Oh, my favorite people in the whole wide world. So check in. Let me know how you're doing. I love seeing how you guys are doing. Share your best sale. Share what's happening with you. I really look forward to the comments, and I love chatting with you guys. So check in, and I'm wishing you the best day ever, and we'll see you on the next one.